What is up, RotoGrinders? Welcome to the Prop Shop Show. I am not Britt Devine. Britt Devine away, I presume, on vacation. I didn't check, and I presume he's going to Disney because that's what he does. That's what he likes to do. Do we know this confirmation? Is that where Brittany's Brittany? Is that where Britt is at? Of course, Will, Chief Justice, you know him from such things as the Prop Shop. It's no coincidence he's on the Prop Shop Show. Will, is that why Britt's out? I assume it's an excused absence. Hopefully,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Britt's on a little vacay. Of course, he is headed to Disney, so I just appreciate you being able to hop in and cover for him and keep this show on the rails. You know, we do shows a lot together anyway, so hopefully, we'll have some more organic things happen. Talk about the plays, and I mean, look, man, let's help the people get in the green column yet again this week. I think overall for the year, I mean, we've done really well. Of course, we're not going to get it slam dunks every week, but overall we've done really well. So hopefully we can continue that trend this week. Very excited about this one. I think there's some good things for us to talk about.
Yeah, some of y'all are watching live on a Wednesday night. Appreciate y'all. Some of you guys may be watching it when it's being recorded. So the news we have is the news we have on a Wednesday night at 7:30 on the East Coast. So news is pending. There's a news flow, of course, in the NFL, especially Week 14. A lot of hurt bodies out there, but we're going to do our best to talk about the slate, the best takes we have when it comes to taking advantage of sites like Prize Picks and Underdog. It's Week 14. The people should know by now. I presume they know, but there's probably one person out there watching and saying, you know what I would like? I would like to partake in a community where we can hang out and just talk about, props and over-unders and sides and things like that. Is there a community like that exists? Will, where would this person be directed to?
Listen, man, they're going to be directed to the Prop Shop. And first of all, if you're a RotoGrinder subscriber and you're into props, you're probably already there. But if you're not, just scrolling up to the top, you'll see something that says Chiefs Prop Shop. Come hang out with us. We'd love to have you. Secondly, if you're not a part of the community, then the first thing you need to do, Dean, I don't know how you've played DFS all these years and don't have a RotoGrinders account. We've been leading the charge for a very long time. I think the company was founded in 2010, if I'm getting a little historical. So we've been doing this a while. And so you need to sign up for a RotoGrinders account. But here's the kicker, Dean, I think, that's really cool about the Prop Shop. If you have a RotoGrinders account, you don't need to be premium. You just need to have a RotoGrinders account, and you can get in the Chiefs Prop Shop for free. And let's help you make some money, and then you can go premium because the projections alone, in terms of looking at props, are worth the cost of admission for RG Premium. So very excited about the Prop Shop. We've done well. A lot of people have been around, and so I'm really grateful for the shop. A lot of sharp minds in there. I tell everybody I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I am smart enough to understand that if we all work together, we're going to do a lot better than one person trying to figure it out on their own.
Man of the people, the Chiefs Prop Shop does not cost the people anything. There are some premium channels. That one is not premium. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. You go right to the featured channels up top. Chiefs Prop Shop, right above Blender's Game Theory. Now, Blender, not a man of the people. That's a premium channel. He's a man of the premium people. But you are a man of the people. And, it's not just football, for the record. All sports are being tilted at all hours for League of Legends at 5 o'clock in the morning if you jump in this.
4 a.m. right now, D. We're on that weird 4 a.m. schedule. But I'm not up at that time. Whatever happens. I wake up in the morning around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and figure out, whether or not I'm starting off the day with big profits or behind the 8 ball or breaking even or little profits or little losses,
We have the Thursday night game. Dude, you better be gambling this Thursday. You can't just watch this game for entertainment. The Raiders at the Rams. I cannot imagine the Rams these days, completely horrendous. The Raiders, a little better by default, I suppose. I know you have some takes as far as this game. We're going to get. You made a full card just for this Thursday night game so the people can actually watch it. Fire away. Well, what do you have as far as Thursday night Rams Raiders?
Well, the thing about this Thursday night is, if you're looking at the card there, I don't like the props because on the Rams side, it's very yucky at quarterback, Dean. So that's kind of something to look at there. But and I know Steve will get this up, but we've got Devontae Adams, who's going to be at 89.5 receiving yards. And don't look now, but Devontae Adams is just cranking up the yards, Dean. I mean, with all the injuries, he basically is the passing offense. And so even in a game where I anticipate that the Raiders should win this game fairly handedly, I still think Devontae Adams gets going early and often and is able to hit a couple big plays to go over this number. So at 89.5, even in a game where it should be a run-heavy script late, I still like Devontae, man. He's just getting too much volume in his offense. And I'm kind of going to stick with the Raiders. So if you look there, we've got Derek Carr at 33.5 passing attempts. I'm actually taking under for this game. I am not expecting the Raiders to be behind at all. So at 33.5, I don't think Carr's going to have to throw it that many times. And so I'm taking the under there. Now, he's gone over this significantly for a few weeks in the past 5 weeks, but those were tighter games where he had to throw, like when they were playing the Chargers and they were playing Seattle, stuff like that. I'm not expecting them to have to do that against the Rams. So not worried about that one. Also, I really like that one, even though we've got Devontae going over, really like Carr under 33.5 pass attempts. And then we've got Josh Jacobs at 20.5 rushing attempts. And if I were to rattle off these numbers for you, Dean, in terms of rushing attempts, how many rushing attempts do you think Josh Jacobs is averaging over the last 5? Just right off the top of your head.
He's got the nut roll right now, and he was supposed to miss one of the games. He was out injured in the game, and he came back and just destroyed Seattle's world on that walk-off 80-yard touchdown. By the way, I'm not ignoring your question, but Jacobs officially, as of 2 hours ago, with his quad and his calf, it's a short week as well, questionable. We've seen this before when he's been questionable and just crushes the world. He's officially questionable, and John Wolford, the quarterback for the Rams, we don't know, but he's questionable as well. We'll see if they dust off. God, what was the other guy's name? Bryce something?
Yeah, he played at Virginia. He played for the University of Virginia. Yeah, Bryce Perkins.
There you go. I'm not sure how much that matters, how pertinent that is. Just noting it on a Wednesday night, those guys are questionable. As far as your question, how many touches, how many carries per game you want to know for Jacobs' last 5?
Yeah.
He had an overtime as well. I would say it's like 27.
Believe it or not, he's had 126, 133, 24, 21, 17 against Jacksonville, where they were throwing a little bit. His average right now is at 24. That's over the last 5 games. But I mean, at 20.5, in a game script where they should essentially be in control most of the time. This is probably my favorite prop on Thursday night. Josh Jacobs over 20.5 carries. His yardage prop, I think, is around 89.5 something, and he probably will pass that too, but 20.5 carries, man. He may have 15 carries in the first half if this game gets away from these guys. So I really like Jacobs here. And then,
you're not concerned about short week and the injuries is not an issue for you.
I'm not. Okay. Yeah, I'm not. This should be an easy game for them.
Donald's out for the Rams, if you're not aware.
Yeah. This should be an easy game for them. So love Jacobs. And then I'm taking Van Jefferson on a hunch here that this team is just going to have to throw. He's the one receiver, Dean, that's on the field about 90% of the time. And so as a result, and I'm being quite honest here, I have to get in a Rams prop for this to work. And so he's the most logical, just being on the field mostly in the passing game. If Perkins is the quarterback, I might be a little bit more afraid, but I'm also not afraid of the Raiders' defense, especially the secondary. Like, they've struggled. They got rid of Abrams, their safety. So I'm not too afraid of it. We just need the passes to connect. And I think he'll get there just on, volume. 7 targets. I think he's been getting about 7 targets a game roughly. And that should be enough considering he does have some down the field ability. But Dean, that covers Thursday night. Anything you want to add? I'd love to hear it, of course.
No, I don't want to watch this game is what I'll add. I'm firing up Netflix. I'm watching basketball. Basketball's pretty quiet on Thursday night as well. But I've had enough. I've had enough of the Rams. They've hit my quota for the season. No, the Rams in an island game. I hope everybody wins their parlays, and but I am not watching this football game. Before we dive in and break down your favorite players, your favorite passers when it comes to prize picks, your favorite rushers, your favorite receivers, you do just have like an overall favorite play of the week that happens to come on, I believe it's on Underdog. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Play of the week. I told the prop shop this early. I said, man, I have a play that is saucy this week, Dean. And I do mean saucy. And look, folks, I do think Deshaun Watson is going to play better. This is my top play on the board right now across all sites for what it's worth. I do think Deshaun Watson is going to play better. But, folks, they are giving us a prop of 266.5 total yards. 266.5 total yards. Deshaun Watson is very rusty. I anticipated him to be rusty, but he struggled with Houston, was off on the throws, off on the reads, was unable to kind of get outside of the pocket and make some things happen. And against a team like the Cincinnati Bengals that are now ascending, right, to take over the division and get ready for a playoff Super Bowl push, possibly, you can't tell me Deshaun Watson is going over this number, man. Like, he looked pretty bad last week. I favorite prop across the board. I love this one. I think he gets going with ease. Not gets going, but I think he goes under, excuse me. With ease.
I hear you. I thought it was, I understand why, and like everybody has sort of assumed, but I thought Brissett like played pretty good. It's like one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league. And I thought one of the top 5, whatever. I thought it was interesting that it was not even a conversation. Like, Watson's the guy. I just wonder, first game, whatever. It's been a long time since he's played. I wonder if he stumbles again, and like all of a sudden people start talking, maybe throw Brissett in there, give Watson a year in the offseason. I don't know. I'm just sort of spitballing out there, but I just thought that Brissett was thrown away really quickly. But I understand why. A lot of money, whatever. A pedigree of Watson. Anyways, we shall move on and talk about your favorite passing props on the week. We're talking about Pat Mahomes, Tua, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold. Oh, man, they make the number low enough. You're tempted to bet over. Well, I'm curious to hear your take on that. But, feel free to take it away. Any order you want to fire your favorite throwers / quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm going to start with Patty Mahomes because this one, Dean, and I know you don't get a chance to catch this show often because a lot of times you have a show as well. Denver has been stifling against quarterbacks. And I mean stifling, Dean. It's been very hard to throw in this defense. Like, as bad as Russell Wilson has been all season, Denver has just shut quarterbacks down. And I mean, has limited them big time. So when we get Patrick Mahomes at 280 in a spot where not only, Dean, is Denver a tough defense to go against, like, will this offense be needed to push the ball down the field as the game wanes along? I don't think so. Now, the Kansas City defense isn't great, but I mean, does anybody trust Russell Wilson right now? I sure don't. So I think, Kansas City is able to put up the numbers to get rolling and just kind of put Denver away. And I'm not saying that Patty's going to throw for over 300, obviously, but I think they can do just enough to win the game with ease, and Patty still not have to go over 280.5. So I love the under here. Denver's just, like I said, Dean, they've kept quarterbacks under passing yards all season long. This has been a prop shop staple. I mean, we've taken some quarterbacks, Dean, at 190, and they've stayed under. Like, that's how stifling this defense has been. So really like Patty under here. And then this is another staple.
How much does that Denver offense hate Russ? Like, the defense, I'm sorry. How much remember there was a Russ was throwing a party. They said 50%, roughly 50% of his teammates showed up. I'll tell you, he didn't show up. The defense hates him.
Yeah,
they make it work so hard.
Yeah, look, when you've got guys screaming at you on the sideline, like profuse screaming, Dean, not like, hey Russ, hey Russ, let's get rolling here. Yeah, it's really bad.
It's a waste. The defense is really good. It's just a waste.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you have it. They hate him. Now on to Tua, Dean, who's another staple here. Tua at 285. I mean, folks, Tua has been incredible, and I mean incredible, Dean, in terms of the passing yards. I mean, his coach has him pushing the ball down the field with accuracy. He's been exceptional. He's playing the Chargers on the road. They didn't leave San Francisco. They didn't leave the West Coast, so they stayed on the West Coast. Last five. What's that?
I didn't know that, but yeah, sometimes coaches make that choice. I feel like Belichick's done that in the past. I didn't know that was
yeah, they didn't leave. They just stayed. That made a lot more sense. 382, 302, 285 against Cleveland, 299 against Houston, 295 against San Francisco. And this is a game where, once again, they should be able to light it up through the air. The Chargers aren't going to stop them at all. I love this one. I know Jalen Waddle has had some he's got like an injury of some sort, and I think he's been limited at practice. But what I'm saying is I'm not worried about it. Like, he should play Sunday. They should be able to blow the top off this offense yet again. So 285.5, taking the over. Geno Smith, Dean, another guy that Kenneth Walker's down. This passing offense, Dean, outside of the Giants game, which, Arizona 275, Tampa Bay 275, Las Vegas, the Raiders 380, 328, and the Rams last week 367. Dean, Geno Smith, I mean, my God, what a turnaround for his career. Who's going to go to Seattle and take the starting job? Nobody. Like, this is his team now.
It's so weird. I mean, I know this isn't the show designed for that kind of conversation, but like,
we're good. We're good.
Are they gonna sign him like 5 years? It's just gonna give him one more year and it's like a Band-Aid. Because expectations were so low, and I'm guilty of it too. I thought Seattle was gonna be one of the worst teams in the league. I was like, I'm looking at this roster, like they're gonna be horrendous, and we're just gonna waste Metcalf and Lockett. Like, that's what we're doing. And Pete Carroll's gonna run the ball 1,000 times per game because that's what he loves doing. But Geno, comeback player of the award. I don't know if he's.
Listen, I think he should win it, Dean. Like, I think he should win it, considering how great he was at West Virginia. I mean, Dean, he was incredible at West Virginia. Comes into the league, doesn't pan out in the Jets, doesn't pan out with the Giants. Just things are not working. The backup behind Russell Wilson in Seattle gets a chance, and he's a veteran, Dean, who doesn't have a lot of wear on the treads. So I like Geno. I definitely think he should win comeback player of the year. Like, he's actually probably a top 5 quarterback in football according to statistics this year, which is incredible.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I don't know if I fully believe in whatever. He's been amazing this year. You can't take that away from him.
But Dean, like we say, we don't believe he's done this since week 1.
No, yeah, he's been spectacular. I was thinking about
he's done it since week 1.
Was he with Tavon Austin? Was that his guy at West Virginia? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
I used to watch college football. Pat White was before him, right? The Dolphins draft.
I think Kevin White was there too.
Yes, yeah, another top draft pick that just
I
think he just never really played at all in the NFL.
You're getting a little bit with the Bears, but all in all, he didn't really pan out. But so love Geno at 245.5 against the Panthers. I'm taking the over here, and inversely, Dean, because the Seattle defense hasn't been able to stop anybody through the air. They've improved, but they're not really slowing guys down. Sam Darnold at 207.5. I think Seattle should be in control of this game. I don't think we get the over until late fourth quarter, Dean. Like, we may not get this until 2 minutes left. But it doesn't matter when we get it. It just matters that we get it. 207.5, taking the over on Darnold in a game that should be a baby shootout. Like, I think Seattle gets up on us, and then we have to try to pass to keep up. Maybe this game ends like 28-17 or something like that, or 24-17. But it could end, Dean, 35-32. Who knows?
You say us,
either way.
You're a Panthers fan. If the people are confused.
I am, but we're not going to win this game. So it's really more just about the fact that we're going to be in an environment that should be conducive to scoring. And so at 207.5, I like the Darnold over.
You don't want to win this game, do you? If you're a Carolina fan, you don't want to.
We don't care about winning any more games, Dean. Like, we're done.
I'm saying, are you actually upset if they win?
No, I haven't been upset all season. So here's my most joyous moment in the season, Dean. It's when I heard about the Matt Rule firing. That's the most excited I've been all year.
What do they have now? An interim coach in Carolina? They didn't
Yeah,
announce
yeah. Oh man, Coach. Jeez, he used to be the coach for the Cardinals for a while. Oh,
I have the Google. Steve Wilkes, is that who it is?
Yes. Steve Wilkes is the interim. He's not going to be the head coach. I can tell you that right now. But
they're going to get an upgrade over Matt Rule, is what you're expecting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's it with quarterbacks, right? It's so squeamish to bet over, but like you put the numbers low enough, you'll bet the over. 207 for Sam Darnold,
but Sam Darnold was like 180, I think, against the Denver Broncos, and we took the under, Dean.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's all matchup based. It's all matchup based.
I was on the fly. I was pulling up Derek Carty. Shout out Derek Carty, the blitz, and he had Tua well over 300 yards. You know, Carty loves his dome games too. It's a dome game out there in LA. That number for Tua seemed a little bit too low. I felt pretty good about that one. That's my favorite bet you threw out there. Anything else as far as quarterbacks? No, you're done. You want to talk about some running backs?
Please. And look, folks, don't get mad at me, okay? Please. Don't get mad at me today. But we're going back to Derrick Henry this week, okay?
Oh boy.
He's been atrocious for us, Dean. But anytime I've been able to get him around 80 rushing yards, it's been successful. Much easier matchup this week, I feel like, with Jacksonville. So hopefully we get the real Derrick Henry and not the imposter that we've seen in 3 of the last 4 weeks. So I'm rolling them out one more time, Dean. One more time. And I believe that he should get there. Now, my top play of the week.
Oh, go ahead.
What's that?
I saw a tweet, not exactly, but more or less. I know it's D Hember, right? But his efficiency, like 3.5 yards per carry, like in the last month or so, that's atrocious, obviously. And then, he sometimes banks on that breaking off that 40-yarder. It just hasn't happened. The volume wasn't there last game, but I think that's because they were well behind Philadelphia, so they had to pass. But go ahead, I cut you off. Feel free to complete your thought.
No, we're good. So, so Derrick Henry, I'm going over, man. Like I'm rolling it one more time. That's it though, Dean. Like this is it. This is the week for him. This is redemption week for us all. We need him to come through for us. Now, my top play of the week, no secret, anybody facing Houston. Now, the last time, Dean, we had Ezekiel Elliott in one of these spots, I think he was facing Detroit, and he was on his way to a monster day, Dean, and got hurt. So this is redemption time against Houston. What I like about Elliott is the rushing attempts are there. If we get him at 15.5, Dean, and this isn't up on the board right now, if we get him at 15.5, I'm going to take the over because that's something else I try to do to parlay or kind of utilize winning thinking in the props game. Like if the rushing yards get there, great. But if sometimes these rushing attempt totals are a little bit too low, and so I go ahead and attack those. But I do like Zeke here. Zeke's, believe it or not, Dean, Zeke's been over a lot in the past few weeks. So I like him a ton. What's that?
He's been pretty good of late.
Yeah. And the thing is, like a matchup with Houston, I mean, he should be able to almost hit 100 yards again. So I like him at 64.5. Etienne and Barkley. Let's talk about those. So I'm going to group them together for the sake of time. But Etienne at 56.5 against Tennessee, this is a recipe for disaster. If it's one thing the Tennessee defense can do is limit the running game. And Etienne, with this weird injury, they've been playing him and then playing somebody else. And you know what I'm saying? So
Hasty.
Hasty. So I'm going under on 56.5. Hasn't really gotten over that in the past, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. And the same thing for Saquon. They're playing Philly, and I like Saquon. Philly has had struggles in their running game. But Dean, like, how close are the Giants going to be able to keep up in this game? Like, Saquon may not be able to even run the ball in the third or fourth quarter. So at 68.5, I'm going to take the under there. Saquon's been struggling as well, and this is a spot where they've been getting behind. So I like that spot a lot for the unders on Etienne. and Barkley.
I'm surprised how much ETN played last week. 88% of the snaps. I thought he would get a little bit. He was going into the game questionable. I think he said he was fine, but he was officially questionable. But yeah, they only got to 5% of the snaps to Hasty and 7% to Snoop Connor. So yeah, and I guess obviously Robinson did not play either. I'm just curious. Do you happen to have it up? You were talking about Zeke. Where's the number on Pollard? Is it basically the same? And I guess
About 71 actually.
That's interesting because Zeke is like the starter, if whatever that means.
Yeah. Usually Pollard has been slightly under, and Pollard's not going to get as many carries as Zeke. Essentially, now that does not mean that he won't That does not mean he won't pass Zeke in terms of actual rushing yards. That's not what I'm saying, but
he's more efficient. He can break one off easier than Zeke can.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
It's funny. I just pulled up the blitz and Cardi. Yeah, Cardi's got Elliott to get 15-ish attempts and Pollard to get 13-ish attempts, and they're coming off that absolute drubbing, that the thrashing of the Colts. They put up a 33 spot, I believe, in the fourth quarter. Even Malik Davis got in on the fun. Like everybody scored a touchdown if you're running back for the Cowboys. Malik Davis got one in the fourth as well, just for funsies. Do you have anything else as far as running backs, or shall we move on and talk about your favorite receivers?
Yeah, man. Let's talk about these receivers here.
Go for it.
So, in terms of receivers, and as everybody knows, if you've been following this show, get kind of close to our last category. I'm starting with Garrett Wilson this week at 63.5, Dean. I just think he's getting so much volume right now in the Mike White era of the Jets, at least for now. I'm expecting them to possibly be behind a little bit, kind of like how it was when they played the Vikings last week. And as a result, this should open it up for Wilson. The Buffalo Bills have gotten a little bit more healthy on defense, but I do think the absence of Von Miller should hold back the pass rush enough for Mike White to be able to take his time as the game goes along. So 63.5, I like that. Justin Jefferson, this is a slam dunk for me this week, Dean. One of my favorites here. Might feel like a high number, but Justin Jefferson should get off against the Detroit Lions. He may be close to this in the first half. He should eat this zone defense alive. So no surprise there. But on the other side, and if you notice, Dean, one thing I like about props is a lot of times we can do some correlation. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 80.5, where, Detroit should have to throw the ball a good bit down the stretch. I like this a ton at 80.5. Last week, I think he came in at 74, 75.5, 71.5, something like that. Blew the top off in a game where they should be behind a good deal. I love this at 80.5. I'm going to take the over there.
Not to cut you off, but it's funny.
No, we're good. We're good.
The Vegas is showing a huge lack, or the Vegas gamblers, I suppose, just sports bettors in general. You said that, and Minnesota is what, a 2-loss team? Detroit Lions, your Detroit Lions, America's Detroit Lions, are favored to win this game by 2 points.
Oh, we know.
Yeah,
trust me, we know, Dean. These people are crazy.
These people are crazy. Detroit and disrespect to Minnesota, I guess. Maybe Minnesota's a fraud. They're fraudulent. Maybe. I was a little surprised with the line. I mean, I don't think Minnesota's like this great team, but it's just, I thought it was an interesting number. And the only thing that I should note as far as Vegas as well, you're talking about betting the over on 2 pass receivers. There's just the 10-game main slate. I was researching Minnesota Detroit as a total higher, 5 points higher than the second highest game. Cleveland and Cincinnati 47.5. Minnesota Detroit 53.5. I think it might be down to 52.5. I've written it down from yesterday, but still. We're expecting a shootout. We haven't seen a lot of this kind of number. This is, I think, the biggest number on the entire slate all weekend long. In a dome, we like that this time of season as well. But just thought it was interesting to point out. And like you're talking about, Minnesota is going to be ahead. We'll see, maybe. But Vegas, well, actually, thinks otherwise. Not so fast, my friends.
Not so fast. Yeah. Look, and last but not least, Dean, and we'll come back to that. Because I do want to talk, and I talked about this on Food for Thought, so that's why I'm kind of not hammering it right this minute. I'm going to talk about it, and then we'll come back and close the show out. But Keenan Allen, Dean, at 67.5 against Miami, this is another one of those other side of the game plays where we've seen Miami's offense just really be explosive this season. And so if the Chargers are going to be anywhere near this game, they're going to have to keep up, right? Like they're going to have to throw the football at some point. And I think that's going to open it up for Keenan Allen. Just in terms of volume, like we know Keenan Allen shouldn't be out here catching like 30-yard passes, but he'll catch one for 10. He'll catch one for 8. He'll catch one for 12. And all of a sudden you look at it, it's like, oh, Keenan Allen has 80 yards receiving tonight just on volume. And I think that's what we get here. And if he gets a big play, then, he's probably going to go over automatically. So that's where we're at for receiving. And that's mostly going to do it for the week, folks. I'm glad you hung out with us. I did want to clear up a lot of times, we'll talk underdog and other sites, but Prize Picks just had the most advantageous lines this week outside of that line on Deshaun Watson. That was on underdog. I scrubbed it out. All of these lines are better currently or exactly the same on Prize Picks versus underdog versus Thrive, so forth and so on. So that's why we kind of did mostly focus on Prize Picks this week for this particular show. But hopefully it all comes together for us, and should be a pretty fun time. D, let's visit this really quickly though, because we talked about this on Food for Thought. This is ridiculous that the Detroit Lions are favored over the Minnesota Vikings. Like that's awful. Like get out of here. Like Minnesota's getting no respect.
The Lions?
What's that?
Why do you hate the Lions?
Because they're not better than Minnesota. It makes no sense. It's nothing more, nothing less. And let me just say that for that reason alone, I secretly want the Minnesota Vikings to go to the Super Bowl. Because they've got no respect all year. Secretly, I want them to just ride this thing to the Super Bowl. Wouldn't it be grand, Dean, after losing to the Cowboys like 40-3 and losing to the Eagles 24-7, that they stuck it to these guys in the playoffs and rode off into the sunset? I can't wait to see this happen. One of these teams may have a meltdown. I don't know which one, but I'm not a Minnesota fan at all. But the amount of disrespect they've gotten over the season, like I actually want to see them run through the NFC and go to the Super Bowl just for the massive amount of disrespect they received.
I'm looking at who they've played so far. They lost to the Eagles. Okay, they beat the Packers. They beat the Lions earlier in the season, 28-24. They beat the Saints, barely skated by there. Beat the Bears by a touchdown. Beat the Dolphins at home by 8. Took care of the Cardinals, the Commanders. They did beat the Bills, 33-30 in Buffalo. That's right. I remember that was like the game of the year. I totally forgot about that game. That was the game where it's like, yeah, respect us, I suppose. But then they went out like the down game right afterwards. The Cowboys absolutely walloped them. I think they're behind Dallas. I think they're behind Philly. I'm trying to think who else would be ahead of them potentially in the NFC, but it is a little bit of disrespect. Has that line moved? I'm pulling up scores and odds right now. And by the way, a little crossover, why don't mention other things going on in the RotoGrinders scores and odds world? Check out the scores and odds video tomorrow, Thursday, 4:00. Myself and Dude Man Pa Ryan Reed, we go through every single game, and he gives a take as far as the total or a side. So I'm curious to get his opinion on that one, because it is a weird looking line. What did it open at? Now you got my attention. Now we're talking about it. We have time, I suppose. Sure, why not? Vikings. Vikings are getting 2.5 points. And what was the line movement? But did it open at? I think the line. Okay, so Lions open as a 2.5 point favorite, and this moved to that being a. I'm sorry, the Lions open as a 2.5 point dog, and it's moved 5 points. That's amazing.
Yep.
That's a little too disrespectful, I think.
Exactly. It's very disrespectful, D.
5 points.
Very. Like get out of here. Like stop this massive disrespect that's happening. Like just stop it.
Nobody really respects like Cousins. Like he's a fine quarterback. He's like okay, but like nobody's afraid of playing against Cousins, right? He's okay. He's fine. He's serviceable. It's not terrible. He's good enough where you don't feel like you have to replace him, but he's not bad enough where he's not too good that you're afraid. Oh no, we got to stop Kirk Cousins. It's Jefferson, right? That's the guy you got to slow down, obviously. It was just insane. Yeah. I like, I'm gonna do a DFS show after this. Like he's just an awesome play this week. The only restrictions is salary. But yeah, what was the number as far as the total for Jefferson this week? Whatever it is, it's probably too low. Is it somewhere in the 90s or the 80s? Where is it at?
Yeah, it was at 90.5.
Yeah, like I feel like he's gonna beat that. Like that still seems really,
it's way
really good.
Too low. Yeah, it's way too low.
I appreciate you letting me join. Host the show here.
This has been exciting, D. Like I'm so grateful that you were able to come on and hang out with us, man. Like thanks a bunch. Brett, we miss you, bro. Hopefully you're enjoying your time at Disney. And Dean did an admirable job, and I do mean admirable, covering for you and keeping this show on the rails.
Anything else you want to tell the people before we step aside and get out of here?
No, sir. We are good to go. We'll see you back here next week, either Tuesday or Wednesday at 7:30.
That is Will Priester, the Chief. Again, if you guys want to just talk to him and talk to like hundreds of other people just hanging out, sweating all sorts of sports, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, talking prize picks, talking underdog, talking League of Legends, talking MMA, talking golf, talking everything when it comes to that world. RotoGrinders.com/Discord and hit up the Chiefs Prop Shop room. Again, that is free of charge. All you need is a RotoGrinders account. Doesn't have to be premium. Anybody can jump in there. Do hang out there. This was the Prop Shop show. That was Will. I was Dean. Win something this week. Good luck, everybody. We're out of here. Oh!